Hi, it's Jennifer from Quiltin', Stitchin' and Kitties. Today I'm going to talk to you about the disappearing 9 patch. If you've done some in the past, I have some suggestions, and if you've never done one, I think you're going to find that it is a lot of fun. Very versatile. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick your fabric. And you can go scrappy, you can go coordinated, it doesn't matter. But you're going to end up making a 9 patch. You will put your focus type of fabric in the corners. Nothing needs to match. Then you will have a solid or a mottled fabric that goes into these sections. And then in the center, you have something that catches your eye. I call it the popper fabric. So I'm going to be using charm squares today, but I'm going to be talking to you about sizes and how you figure it out. So you just put it together as a 9 patch. You can sew them into rows, or you can use the webbing method. I tried both of it. I felt like the webbing method was a little bit faster, but it doesn't matter. As far as pressing goes, you want to press towards the print fabrics and away from the white. So you will have these towards the prints, this towards the prints, and you will have absolutely no trouble with your seams nesting. After you've got them all sewed together, you press really, really well. You want to get this fabric as absolute smooth as you can. And then what you want to do is you want to find the center of the center block. Now these, because they're charm squares, this block right now is at 14 inches. The individual square here in the center is finished at 4.5. So that means half of that is 2 1/4. So that's one way you can find the center that you need to find 2 1/4. But you're going to be cutting twice. So what I do is I know I need 2 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one to get me, 2 1/4, to get my 2 1/4. And then I'm going to use this ruler to cut. So I check and see, okay, where am I? I've got 2 1/4 here. I don't quite have 2 1/4 here. So I'm going to kind of split the difference and just make it as close to the center as I can. You only have to do it in that direction at first and then hold on tight and slice right down the center. Okay, then carefully lift up your ruler. Do not move your block. Now do the same thing again. Find 2 1/4 or whatever your size is, so half of your finished block. I check it this way to make sure, and again, it's off just a little, so I'm just going to kind of split the difference, trying to keep everything nice and straight. I line up on a seam line. That looks good. Move that away. Again, hold really firmly and cut. Now you've got, there's your 9 patch. Now it's gone. So that's why they call it disappearing 9 patch. But all of the blocks will end up with the popper fabric in the corners. So the other thing about fabric for this is, especially if it's your first time, don't choose directional fabric, because the way you're going to lay out the blocks when you twist and turn, you never know for sure which direction your block is going to be facing. So if you've got a very specific directional print, you may not want to use it. I've got a few in this charm pack, but I'm really not concerned if the bicycles are right side up or upside down, though I'll try and lay them out as much as I can right side up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get all the squares finished, and then I'll be back to show you the quilt. But let me just talk to you a little bit about measurements. Depending on what size quilt you want to end up with, charm squares, once you sew them together, you have 2 seams this way and 2 seams this way. So the first seam you lose 1/2 inch of fabric. The second seam you use 1/2 inch of fabric. So now you're down to from 15 inches to 14 inches. When you cut that in half, these are now 7. And then finished, they will be at 6.5. If you do a 6-inch square to start, you'll end up with your blocks being 8 inches. So 6, 6, and 6 is 18, minus 1 for the seams leaves 17. Cut that in half, 8.5, finishes at 8. So you can do any size you want. The smaller that you go, obviously takes a lot more time and it takes more fabric. But you can go, I wouldn't go probably any bigger than starting out with a 9-inch block. A 9-inch block will cut you into 4 12.5-inch squares. So beyond that, unless you just want a really, really simple with very few blocks quilt, then anything past 9 is going to get really huge. So I will be back with all my finished squares and I will show you how to lay it out. Okay, I finished all my blocks. I put all of them up except for the last row so you could be part of it. And I wanted to show you how I did it. It's not the only way. You have lots of choices. But what I did is I started out with the popper square going to the upper left. Then the next square went to the lower left. Then, whoops, I don't want to get them out of order here. Then the next square was, whoop, dropped them all, was upper left. Oh boy, hopefully I can remember how I did this. I think the blue was on the end. So this would now be the lower left. This would be the upper left. Yep, that's right, because I got the bicycles going the right way. And lower left. So that's your top row. Then in order to get this, yes, Sherlock is calling. The next row, you start upper right, lower right. Upper right, lower right, upper right, lower right. That creates these patches that come together here. Then you repeat the next row, upper left, lower left, etc. And that will give you your squares here and give you your squares there. I guess they're not really squares, but they're coming together as squares. So that is one look. You can move it all around. You can change it any way you want. It doesn't really matter. It's whatever you like. But by putting that same color in the center of every 9 patch, you get it matching, and that helps sort of give a cohesiveness to the quilt. So I wanted to show you the very first disappearing 9 patch that I made. Oh my gosh, how many years ago? Well, I actually managed to get a label on this one. I think I put it in a quilt show. It's my little local quilt show. So it says, Day to Night Lilies, created by Jennifer, May 2013. Oh my gosh, that was a long time ago. Prescott, Arizona. And the reason I called it Day to Night Lilies is because there was lilies, and I was just learning how to do free motion. But I had some of them where they weren't opened, and some of the designs I put in here where they were opened. So that's why I called them Day to Night Lilies. So talk about a popper color. This orange was hard for me because I've never been a big orange fan, but the quilt turned out really nice. So see how high up I can get. And it was 1 charm pack. But I did add borders to this to make it wider and taller. So it ended up at 40 by 60. but it was just one charm pack. So as you notice, you can have your background color dark as well as light. So it's all about the look you want. But disappearing 9 patches are really fun, easy to do. They're reasonably quick, and I love them. So good to see you. Come back soon. I'll be here. Take care of yourself. Have a great February. Bye. Finished quilt top, 6 blocks across by 7 blocks down. Finishes at 39 by 45.5 inches. Lots of fun. Try one. Sweetheart? Charlotte, what do you want? What? Hey, do you want a treat? Yeah? Okay. I'll get you one. You ready for a treat? Yeah? You sure? You sure? Ready? Yeah? Okay. There you go. That's a good girl.